Welcome back, folks. It's Mark from financialfreedomodyssey.com here with another video. Today, we're going to dive through the entirety of Q3 and see how we did portfolio-wise, as well as check in on the 10 goals that we set all the way back at the beginning of the year. Let's dive right in. Starting off with the 10 goals that we had set. First one is to maintain an investing savings rate of 33%. So we previously had this one checked off, but we called out that it was propped up by a good tax return that I had back in April, I believe it was. So we're not quite at 33%. We're sitting at 31.11%, which likely means we won't hit this goal. Just knowing there's some expenses and stuff that I have coming up, and I generally kind of plan out and end up being pretty accurate actually in terms of how much money I'll be able to invest each month throughout the year. Shout out to my many articles on budgeting and setting up a financial plan. But that's okay. I think if we can get close to it, 30% or in the high 20s, that's pretty good. Many sources such as the Wealthy Barber indicate if you can even save just 10% over a very long period of time in a low-cost index funds, you'll be set up for success. So no worries there. Number 2, check that one off last time as well. Open a spousal RSP. I guess the only update here is I've contributed to it for a few months, which we call out in our monthly portfolio update videos. 50 blog posts. I did miss my first blog post back in August, so I'm still able to miss one if needed. Still tracking well. We're just over 3/4 of the way through the year, and I have one mulligan, if you will. 25 long form videos on YouTube, or essentially 2 a month. That one tracking very well. I'm sitting at 20 to 25, including this video, which means I need 5 more in the year. 2 of them will be portfolio updates for October and November. I might have another one for December if I sneak it in at the end of December instead of January, like I normally do the first week of the next month. I review the previous month. Plus I'll have a year-end review and that sort of thing. So I'm not worried about that one. Tracking well, should hit it. 50 short videos. Yeah, still no change here. I don't really feel the desire to create some short form content at the moment, so this is likely to be a miss unless I get that bug later in the year. The next 2 are things that we accomplished in Q2, so I won't go into them too much, but the first one being we negotiated our bundled home and car insurance. We just did it with our current broker. I guess I could technically shop around and see if we get even lower, but still going to consider that one a win. And negotiate mortgage renewal. We did that last quarter as well. Sign on for a 5-year fixed interest rate. Got a match, got them to beat it, and did as well as we could. The next one, this is the one I'm most disappointed about. So I set the goal 150 30-minute workouts, and at time of writing the article, I had 72 recorded sessions. I missed a few, but like in terms of activating it on my watch, but either way, it's not looking good. I'm gonna have to start doing like 8 workouts a week in order to 150 with the remaining days in the year. So that's basically a certainty that's not going to happen. Not to come up with excuses, because if I did better in the start of the year, this would have mattered, but I've been kind of under the weather for the last couple of weeks ever since getting back from my work trip, so that has not helped us out at all. Another thing I wanted to call out about the workouts is the original intention was for them to be quick, high intensity workouts, where a lot of these sessions are like fairly low impact, definitely not hit. So anyways, that one's going to be a miss. Improving the blog. Still haven't done anything in the blog. This might happen, but looking at what I have coming up in terms of weekends and how busy it's been at work, I'd say it's a 50-50. And then the introduce quarterly check-in posts with videos. So I'm doing my 3rd one here, tracking very well. and we will see. I imagine I would hit that goal. So stats wise, a little worse than last time. We have one that was complete, moved to making solid progress, and we have locked in almost certainly two of these little to no progress ones. So they'll become a miss at the end of the year unless something drastic happens. All right, so portfolio performance. 3/4 of the way through the year, looking more solid than ever. Value-wise, portfolio is up 25% year to date, which is absolutely wild. Since I'm still early in my investing journey, deposits will have a fairly big impact in terms of like bringing up the value of your portfolio. So if I remove the deposits that I made over Q3, then the portfolio is up 22.51%. So that's really the one that more tracks performance. I guess technically, if I wanted to do year to date, I should probably remove deposits over Q2 and Q1 and put a number there. That would be even lower. But anyways, these are the two metrics that I'm going with. And for consistency's sake, I'm going to stick with them. So comparing to the three major indices here, I have NASDAQ at 18.22%, so crushing that one. TSX beating the S&P and the NASDAQ is wild, but we're also beating that one. And S&P 500 is the lowest one of the three that I have here, and we're definitely beating that one. My typical call out that I do have a significant portion of my portfolio in USD, and for these quarterly performance calculations, I do convert the USD to CAD for the vast majority of metrics that I use in my portfolio. I just compare dollars to dollars just so it's easy and you don't have to worry about currency conversions. But looking at it at the start of the year, my currency conversion rate was 1.44. Wow, those were terrible times last year from like September to January. I remember, especially when we went on our trip in September, looking at doing anything and it's quite expensive, and then thinking, oh yeah, then I got to pay 45% higher for this. But anyways, that's okay. It's come down a bit. It was lower in Q2, but we're back at 1.3951 at time of writing the article. Taking a look at how we tracked over the entire year, went from the negatives to the positives to much higher in the positive. So definitely loving that. And to wrap up here, as mentioned, kind of slipped in goal-wise. Going to try to really zero in, check off as many goals as possible. I have written down here 8 or 9 out of 10 complete. I really think 8 is the realistic target. If I get 9, that would be fantastic. 10, super unlikely to happen. 7, I would be okay with. Anything less than 7 would be unfortunate. But yeah, good news portfolio-wise. Unlike my goal setting, portfolio-wise, we are crushing it. And could be a couple of reasons for it. I've called it some so far. The other one I just want to call it here is my moonshot bets, or my single stocks. High conviction growth plays have all been a success. So those are my Shopify, the Google, and AMD. And the AMD shares have shot up incredibly well over the last few days. So even between the time of me writing this article and me recording this article, AMD is up like 30% or something wild like that with the new news that we received back on Tuesday. Anyways, earlier this week. So looking like a genius, feeling like a genius, but those stocks can go the other way just as quickly. So yeah, that's all for today, folks. Thanks for stopping by. Take care. Cheers.